Hey everyone, welcome back to some more Path of Exile shenanigans, and in today's content I've got the week 1 league starter wrap up plus some additional thoughts and commentary about the new league and expansion. Normally I like making a first impressions video soon after a league releases, but I figured it was probably a better idea to just mash it in with the league starter wrap up. So let's begin this shindig with some talk about the Cyclone Berserker that you are seeing right now. Now, some of you are going to hate me, but I did some changes to the overall league starter plan. Actually, not some. It's kind of a different deal altogether. It's gonna make sense, a bit more sense than the last video, actually. And it mostly had to do with a Terminus Est that I found roughly around level 52 in a ritual encounter, which carried me all the way through mid-tier yellow maps on a 4 link. By that point, I had invested enough skill points into sword crit, attack speed and damage that changing into Kitava's Fist and Maligaro's Virtuosity was no longer an option, and especially seeing as a 6-linked Terminus Est is extremely cheap in comparison to a 6-linked Kitava's Fist. So to compensate for those changes, I decided to give this character Elemental Ailment Immunity, 54% Chaos Resistance with the option of going higher, Stun Immunity through other means, and some other stuff that you'll see in a bit. And it ended up being a rather smooth road for a league starter, that is. As I said in the last video, the setup this build gets is more than decent for dealing with Sirius at Awakener level 7 and other lesser endgame stuff such as Shaper, Elder, their Guardians or Katarina, which are in tonight's video as background gameplay. However, the new stuff, yeah, we're gonna have to pass on that for a while, but I'll talk a bit more about that topic later on in the video. With all of that said, if you enjoyed tonight's content, be sure to subscribe to the channel, otherwise a rating and a comment are always appreciated. And with all of that, let it be known that Jesus is actually a terrible driver. He keeps driving in circles and crashing into stuff. Anyways, I'm gonna try to keep both the skill tree and gear setup short because you can check it out in the PoE. So in a sense, we are just gonna go over the important stuff. First is the weapon, which is a Terminus Est, a common occurrence in this channel, and I chose to use the sword because it is very cheap for a 6-link and a pretty decent weapon too, and it also helps sustaining frenzies on the go. However, I will advise grinding your heart and soul to get a 7-link Terminus, and what I mean by that is a Fortify Corrupted implicit on the weapon, especially if you plan to tackle the new endgame stuff. Mine did not hit that corruption, but I will recommend chasing Fortify instead. Now, for the rest of the gear, you obviously want as much life everywhere, alongside plenty of resistances everywhere, but also mana cost of channeling skills on the jewelry, some damage bonuses here and there like mods on the belt or gloves, a curse on hit ring, crit multi anywhere you can, etc. But in my case, I built this guy with Elemental Ailment Avoidance, Stun Immunity while channeling, and also getting as much Chaos Resistance as humanly possible. With those ideas in mind, you're gonna have to get an open suffix on both the helmet and the gloves to get those ailment crafts, alongside an open prefix to craft the hybrid ailment and stun avoidance on the body armor. Having said that, I wanna point out some final things in the gear. Try to get the temple life and increased life hybrid on your body armor alongside as many resistances as possible. Do not sleep on fractured items like my gloves or boots, as they are gonna make crafting easier, especially with some harvest here and there. And finally, curses on hit as implicits on rings are easier to deal with than having to rely on Conqueror or Delve rings with those curses, especially when juggling life, resistances or stuff that you are lacking. For flasks, a Lion's Roar, a Diamond and a Sulfur flask are my choices. Maybe replace the Sulfur with a Silver, but that is up to you. So now let's move on to the skill tree. First, the Ascendancy. We take Flawless Savagery, Blitz, Crave the Slaughter and Aspect of Carnage as our Ascendancy passives. At the same time, this is a level 95 Marauder. However, there is a caveat. If you get enough intelligence on the gear, then Hard Knocks is irrelevant, which means 94 should be more than enough. You can side with either Alira or no bandits at all, but that depends on your ability to cap your elemental resistances. For Pantheons, Solaris or Lunaris for Major Gods, and Shakari for the lesser one. Now for the tree itself, I'm not gonna go over every single thing because you can check it out on the PoE, but we are gonna focus on a couple of things, as much life as we can with notables such as Heart of the Warrior, Constitution, Juggernaut, Bravery, Golem's Blood, Thick Skin, and Herbalism also increased life in every Yule. Crit chance and crit multi through notables like Versatility, Eagle Eye, Blade of Cunning, Dismembering, Titanic Impacts, Fatal Blade, Heartseeker, while also anointing Disemboweling. Ailment avoidance through the Thick Skin Will, alongside the crafts. Stun avoidance through Unpredictable Offensive alongside Yule Implicits and the Bodycraft. Fortify effect and some DPS through Steadfast and Rampart. Life Leech through Martial Experience from the right side, and generic DPS through Frenzy's, Yules, and other DPS nodes in the way. We also need 115 intelligence in total, so grabbing some through Yules and notables is kinda necessary, but that is it for the skill tree, which means we can wrap up this with some gem setups. In the weapon, Cyclone, Fortify, Impale, Pulverize, Infused Channeling and Brutality. If you can get 2120 or Awakened gems, that will be best. In the body armor, Pride, Blood and Sand, Dread Banner and Precision, with all of them linked to Enlighten level 3. In the helmet, Ancestral Warchief and Ancestral Protector, both of them linked to Maim and multiple totems. In the gloves, Flame Dash linked to Blood Magic and Second Wind, and anywhere else Berserk, Blood Rage and a Portal gem. So now to quickly wrap up this magical experience, for a league starter I'd say that it was a pretty decent start. Relatively cheap, but that is if you don't plan to tackle the Maven or her otherworldly invitations. I got Sirius on Awakener level 7, Shaper, Elder, Katarina, their Guardians, some progress into removing Maven's quest from the screen, but if you wanna tackle the new endgame fights, I am afraid that this character is not yet close to the bar set by the new encounters. You definitely want a 7-link Terminus for those shit shows. Better gear too, maybe even Awakened gems, and plenty of mechanical skill because they are a new circus to deal with. To be honest, I am a bit let down. The character cruised through 138 maps in the Atlas, Shaper and Elder Guardians, a couple of Sirius fights, but the new stuff requires more. And as I said, this character is not there. I am gonna reserve my judgment for now when it comes to dealing with Maven or her Uncharted Realm related invitations, but generally speaking I am a bit conflicted with this entire deal. I mean, I understand that it is supposed to be the hardest content ever added into the game, but personally speaking I do not really find attempting any of it even remotely fun. Maybe it was just this character not getting to the new bar that we gotta strive for, but for now this is all I've got. So if you got to this point in the video, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and I'll catch you again next week with some new build or video to entertain you guys while the entire world crumbles around us. Take care, have a nice weekend, and peace out.
A show for me. Open the void. Take vitality. Fight faster. Life alone. Keep fighting. Open the void. Life prolonged. Struggle on. No end. Begin the winning.
I cannot do this yet.
Round.